Hi, this is Robert from Part Fusion Electronics. I've got another Neopixel compatible LED to show you today. So this one is a 5x5mm LED, but it's got 8 pins. It's the SK6812 RGBW P8. So the P8 is for the 8 pins. So you have your standard ground, positive rail, D in and D out, but you also have these out RGBW. So internally, the LEDs aren't connected to the positive voltage. So each LED inside the package is connected to the output here. So this allows us to supply a different voltage to control the LEDs. I have a kind of a typical circuit sketch here. So you have a decoupling capacitor, a resistor on your input, and in the most simplest configuration, you just connect the out pins directly to your, an example, 5-volt rail. Because the LED is a little bit hard to solder, I've just made up this little crude prototype board. This allows me to experiment with it on a breadboard. Here I have my little prototype module connected into a breadboard, very similar to this typical circuit sketch here. I don't have any capacitor and I don't have any OR-in. But what's interesting about this is we can also power this device from a 12-volt supply. So when using a 12-volt supply, we need to have an OR-in resistor. So in this case, I have a 1K. We're not just able to connect the inputs to a 12-volt supply. We can actually connect multiple LEDs in series and have them controlled by a single P8. So here I've got a circuit with 3 LEDs, 12-volt input supply, only a 1 ohm resistor here on these, and a 1K resistor on the input. The P8 internally seems to have a constant current regulator. This is a very crude guess at what the internals are. You have maybe like an N-channel MOSFET. This resistor is probably going to be a constant current regulator. And the LED, which is internal to the case, and then out is then brought out to the output of our LED. And then we're able to connect that up to our positive voltage, or in this case, a string of LEDs like I have here. The internal limit seems to be about 8 milliamps in each of the pins. But what if we want to power an LED or an array of LEDs that needs a lot more current? Here I have another configuration where I've added a PNP transistor. I have like a pull-up and a kind of current limiting connected to the output pin. So this out would connect to here. And then when the LED turns on, it turns on the PNP transistor and the current then flows through my LED. So in this configuration, there's about 20 milliamps going through each of these LEDs. Using this type of configuration, it might be possible to use the SK6812 RGBW P8 to control something like this LED. So this is an RGB white 1 watt LED. You can see there the size difference. This LED only has a kind of milliwatts of power. This one is probably close to 1 watt or 4 watt when all the lights are shining. So it's an interesting chip. It's a little bit more complex to use. You're definitely going to need to solder this to a printed circuit board. If you're going to try and control an LED like this, or you're probably going to need to add some additional circuitry or a different type of circuitry. I'll provide an AliExpress affiliate link for these LEDs, where I was able to buy 100 of them for about €13. Thank you. Bye bye.